Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good time. Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good time for a little fire and ice.
Please do not know it's never a good time for fire and ice.
What happens when you mix fire and ice? Warm water, baby.
It's bubbling, baby. Warm water. Warm water.
What's going on, everybody? I was listening to the show on my phone because I was trying to make sure everything was going good. It's going good. I was like, why is the music still playing? But it is live. We are live over here at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. It is Saturday, so that means it's time for a little fire and ice. Mike Tipton hanging out with Brandon the Iceman Cohn. We have the disembodied voice of Daver over there to the side of everything as well. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. But Brandon, before we get into that, tell everybody about what's going on over here at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, this is it's a huge month, the month of free. If you're a rewards member this week, starting the 14th, you can get 6 free wings with a $20 purchase. So you come in, get a little nosh, you get 6 free wings. So that's the special going on this week in particular. They also have the ultimate sampler, which we usually indulge on. You pick 4. It is so darn good. You got your mozzarella sticks, your onion rings, your pickles, your wings, and so on and so forth. The pick 6 for $19.99, 2 entrees, 2 sides, 2 fountain drinks. You can add on a dessert if you want. And, of course, they have happy hour specials, appetizer specials during the week after a certain time. And they got a little bit of everything and this and that.
A little bit of everything and this and that, as Brandon the Iceman Cohn said. A lot of stuff, though, Brandon, that we can talk about this weekend. Obviously, we had the wild card matchups. I again, you know me, I'm the first to admit whenever I'm wrong because I'm an upstanding man. It's what I do best. The Jacksonville Jaguars let me down. They genuinely did. I was hopeful. I really thought they had a chance there, which they kind of did towards the end of the game. Mm-hmm. They had the ball. Trevor Lawrence had time. It was just an untimely pick that ultimately comes to the end of that. Ends the season for them. But Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, they get to move on. What are our expectations for the Buffalo Bills moving forward?
Well, I really was extremely impressed with the fact that they were able to win against a red-hot Jacksonville team. 13 games that they won. They had won 7 or 8 in a row, I believe, and that was the team that everybody was saying, hey, this could be the team in the AFC, especially since it's so wide open. That type of a win just absolutely gives you the most confidence in the world. You know, I don't know about Denver. I don't know that I've had a lot of confidence in Denver. I mean, I think they're good, but certainly not great. I feel that Buffalo has as good a shot as anybody to go in to the Mile High City and knock off the Broncos. As a matter of fact, you know, Josh Allen, I mean, the way they played at the end of that game, the way their defense played, Buffalo is hot. And that's the greatest thing about the playoffs is no matter how hot you are coming in, look at the Bills and some of the big games that they've won this year. They got a great shot to win today.
Rust versus rust is a real thing. And with Denver being as young as they are, I have my questions of whether or not they're going to be ready for this game. We'll talk about those games coming up here in just a little bit, but I've got question marks for Denver, and we'll see who's going to ultimately win that game. Another game that happened over the weekend, our Chicago Bears, and yes, I'm saying our. If you missed the show last week, I am rooting for the Chicago Bears. I have my reasons. My friends from Chicago, our guy Brandon the Iceman Cohn and I are both from Chicago as well.
Bear down.
Our guy Deion Hankins plays for the Chicago Bears. And, of course, my friend Jeff Dickerson, one of my mentors over at ESPN Radio, passed away from cancer a couple of years ago. Huge Chicago Bears fan, one of the hosts on ESPN 1000 over in Chicago. And, of course, guy who listens to the show every now and then, Jonathan Hood, huge Chicago Bears fan. So I have put my fandom behind the Bears. And, Brandon, I was terrified in the first half whenever they were down 21-3 to the Green Bay Packers. And I thought me saying that I was going to be rooting for them would ultimately lead to their demise. Ultimately, they come back and they win that game. What a phenomenal game by the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, the cardiac Bears. I mean, you know, Williams is finally starting to show why he was the number 1 overall draft pick last year. It wasn't pretty last year because of the lack of an offensive line. You bring in a great coach like Ben Johnson, and he has proven to be a pretty darn good coach thus far. It makes all the difference in developmental stages of a quarterback. He's showing that he can be a great quarterback in this league, and certainly the Bears are never out of it. The only thing is when you're playing a team like the Rams, you don't want to get down by too many points too soon because they can score like it's going out of style. Now everybody and their brother, is saying, oh, it's bear weather, it's this and that and the other. It's going to be extremely cold tomorrow. I've been at a Bears game where it's that cold. It's no damn fun. And does it favor the home team? Yeah, I mean, certainly it favors the Bears. The Rams aren't used to playing in the abysmal weather that is Chicago in January. The Bears have been practicing outside with no heaters. Good for them. Great win against the Packers. And I say that because they were out of that game. The Bears, as usual, had a great fourth quarter. Every single thing had to happen perfect for them to get that win. The fact that they beat their biggest rivalry in the playoffs, to me, they've already won this postseason, even if they don't win another game.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. There's a lot of teams here, and going back to Jacksonville, right? There's a lot of teams here where we did not expect this from them at all.
Right.
So I consider this, even though Jacksonville unceremoniously, again, they won 13 games, get bounced out of the first round, nobody, except for your boy, saw that Jacksonville was going to be a playoff team. Jacksonville, hell of a season. This is a good season for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Getting a playoff win for the Chicago Bears over your longtime rival was the most matchups in NFL history between the Packers and the Bears, right?
Yeah, oldest rivalry in the NFL. Absolutely. Wonderful rivalry.
That right there, getting the win against them as your rival, one playoff win in the playoffs for this team that nobody would have thought would be as good as they are. This is already one hell of a season. Now, I don't want to see it come to an end.
No, of course not.
But you cannot play that way against the Rams.
And that's the thing. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but, the way they really play – yes, I did. You're right. The way they've played the last few weeks, I mean, admittedly – they've been playing catch up and all that. I mean, against San Francisco, they could have won at the last minute. But against Detroit, they finally showed up in the fourth quarter, that last game of the regular season. Yes, you're right. With a team like the high-flying Rams who can score at will, if you play like that, you want to get into a shootout. I don't think Chicago, we know it's not the 85 Bears defense, even the 06 Bears defense. So, you get into a shootout with the Rams and, it's going to be tough to catch up and beat them. But, yeah, you got to play a more complete game that consists of 4 quarters rather than show up just in the fourth quarter.
And that's going to be the issue. Once again, we'll talk about that matchup going forward. But let's talk about the Rams squeaking by the Carolina Panthers. You were right, Brandon. It wound up being another weather game. The Rams have shown us the 2 games against Carolina. That was just rain and a little bit of wind. You ultimately pull those out. Now you're going to go into Chicago where it's going to be colder than a well digger's ass in Alaska. Like, it's going to be freezing up there. That lake effect is a real thing. If no one believes me on that, there are plenty of pictures of Lake Michigan being frozen over. Like, it's an easy thing to forget about. They've struggled in weather. We've seen the Rams struggle in weather, but they ultimately get the win against the Carolina Panthers. What was your takeaway from that game?
Well, I give Carolina a lot of credit. That's another team that is in the up-and-coming stages from a coaching standpoint, from a quarterback standpoint, and young. And, of course, they're, the way they were able to win the division. And you know what? It's a horrible division, but still to get that win and to be able to host a playoff game. And I think there's a lot of optimism for that organization. And, they really beat themselves. I mean, they should have won that game, but the Rams were resilient and they got the victory. And the Rams have shown a lot of that they're mere mortals to me the last month of the season, where they look pretty much unbeatable rather, maybe going into November. And then the last few games they've shown there's chinks in the armor. And that's the thing. You talk about weather, and Stafford playing in Detroit for so long, you think that maybe he's acclimated to obviously playing in the cold, which he's played in the NFC North, so he knows the drill. But here's an interesting statistic that you're going to like. You're a big stats guy. Stafford's 1-9 in games where it's like 20 degrees or less. Now, is that going to mean anything tomorrow? How the hell should I know? Only time will tell. But again, the cold does have an effect on the way teams play, especially if you're a warm weather team like the Rams are.
And that's what I was going to tell you. So a lot of people have been saying that, like, yeah, Matt Stafford playing in Detroit should know what it's like to play in the cold. Let's not forget that's a dome.
Right.
He's played in a dome the majority of his career.
But he's played Chicago many times. He's played Detroit, Green Bay.
The record speaks for itself. You hit me with a
1-9.
great stat.
No, it's a
1-9 when it's cold.
Yes, it's not a good stat at all. I mean, it's, and he's a great quarterback. He's the MVP this year potentially. And, again, the Bears have a decent defense to where the cold weather, it makes it tough to throw the ball. I mean, you got to remember, tomorrow the high is 20, the low is, I think, 8. So kickoff's 5:30 Chicago time.
It's going to be kicking a rock.
It'll be about 10 degrees, 15. So it'll feel like 0 with the wind chill, probably 10, 15 below. And I've been to games at Soldier Field where that wind, like you said, off of Lake Michigan, it eats right through you. And until you're in that kind of cold, and I know you've been in this kind of cold, but until you're in that kind of horrid cold, you have no clue as to how cold it really is and how much it affects you, the way you feel.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, you know.
Augustine chiming in because we have the two camera setup. We look a lot better this way, especially on the vertical side over here on YouTube and eventually on Instagram whenever we start going live over there. It does. We look very, very handsome today. But Augustine was saying we were looking the wrong. You people were looking the wrong way.
What you mean?
So I flipped our cameras around, and now we're looking the right way.
I was looking at David the whole time. That's funny. What you mean, you people? Anyways,
but okay, so we have that, right? The Rams. There's going to be question marks about that. We'll talk about that game as we come up. Like we're just recapping what happened over the weekend. Okay, the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the San Francisco 49ers. And they do what I absolutely love. They wind up just shitting the bed, which is the best thing for me. Daver, I know that's your team. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay.
I was just so happy. The asteroid did not hit Earth like what I wanted to happen because I couldn't. I didn't want to see either one of those teams win. But the San Francisco 49ers, a banged up, depleted. I don't know how the hell they're doing this.
They do it,
but they go in, they beat Philadelphia. What was your takeaway from that game?
I mean, a tremendous victory. I mean, you lose Kittle and you still win, and of course, you know, this team, Brock Purdy's amazing. He really is. I mean, this is a guy that missed half the season with injuries, came back, and it took him a little bit of time to warm up, but it's like nothing ever happened. I mean, and the thing is that it's still they beat an Eagles team that's been cold lately, but still winning in Philadelphia is no easy feat. So congratulations to them. I mean, we obviously hate the Niners, but this is one of those teams. You know, it's one of those teams where you love to hate them, but you also know that they're really, really good. And despite all of their injuries, they're very well coached. It's a good organization. They've been very successful. And I tell you what, they got a real good shot, even though Seattle's really tough place to play. I'll give you one reason why they got a good shot. Okay. And that's to me a lack of confidence in Seattle and their quarterback. I'm sorry. And he's injured too. He's injured, by the way. What's that, an oblique or something?
His left oblique. Well, it's not his throwing arm.
But supposedly he hasn't thrown a pass since then, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
I know. And I know. Don't give me that look. Stop it.
Okay, so this is the thing.
Me laugh.
Just to give people the context of here. The whole thing with Sam Darnold is he hasn't thrown a pass in 2 days.
Right.
He's been throwing passes for the last year.
He's won. I mean, he's won no playoff games, if I'm not right.
Well, obviously he's been in the playoffs once.
Right, but you know, okay. So I think Seattle's got a good shot just because they are at home. And it's a very tough place to
that's
play.
a good defense.
And that's not a good defense. That's a great defense. That's probably the best defense right now in the playoffs that's left. Don't you think?
Houston.
I don't know. Houston's pretty damn good.
Houston's
pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Houston, you know, yeah, I know that. Didn't they force?
Let's talk about that Houston Texans defense real quick.
Yeah,
they just took belt to ass against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know I loved it because I cannot stand Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
but it was absolutely awesome to watch that. The Texans with a 30-6 win in Pittsburgh over Aaron Rodgers and that team, and they were healthy for the most part. The Steelers were, and that's the biggest thing here is like, oh wow, that's how Mike Tomlin goes out.
Right.
That's ultimately going to be Aaron Rodgers' swan song is getting his ass whooped
by
the Houston Texans because he's got to retire. If Aaron Rodgers comes back next year, he's insane.
Yeah. Now, Houston, do you have a problem though? Because no Nico Collins. And you know, there's the thing. You talked about this last week. You made a great point saying that their offense was not necessarily inept, but it's nothing to write home about. So how much of a struggle are they going to have now against a good Patriots defense without Collins?
And we saw last year whenever Nico Collins went down with the ACL injury that the Houston Texans offense just became inept. Just absolutely terrible.
Nothing. So that's the thing is their defense is going to get all over New England. Their defense could easily win them that game. Because New England hasn't played anybody per se.
Both these teams, New England and Houston, I've been saying it all week long. This is going to be your old school defensive. Both teams are just going to try to run the ball down your throat. If it's 10-6, I'll be surprised.
That's a high scoring affair.
It's going to be. I love whenever I get to say this, so thank you for allowing me to say it right now. It's going to be big, beefy men
I like
going up
big,
against
beefy
other
men.
big, beefy men just slapping meat together.
I know you like slapping meat.
It's going to be
That's why you're the meat slinger.
100%.
He's the meat slinger.
100%. But so let's talk about the New England Patriots. They win. Or no, they did they play? Who did they play?
They did. They won. They beat. Why am I? It's escaping me. They won a good game too. They actually look pretty good in doing so. Jesus, why am I?
I was say, why am I blinking right here? Wow, it shows how much we cared about it. It was a Sunday night game too. That's the wild thing
They
about
beat the
it.
Chargers.
Oh God,
San Diego
Superchargers, but
Yeah.
not so super this year.
Yeah, they
Jesus
beat the hell out of the
Christ.
Chargers.
They
That
beat
was
the
not a
brakes
very
off
good
them
game,
boys.
you know. Yeah, and that was a good win for them. I mean, again, the Chargers were one of those teams where you say, hey, they had a good season. Harbaugh did a good job, but very disappointing to me the way they performed in New England. But was it a good playoff matchup for the Patriots? I mean, it was a bit of a test, but not a tremendous test. Now this is going to be a tremendous test. This is going to be quite a test.
You can say whoever wins this game, you can see a legitimate chance of them representing the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right?
Now,
because both these teams have a phenomenal defense.
If Buffalo can get past, Denver, then to me they have a real good shot.
Obviously, Buffalo has to be the favorite.
But could they beat? If Houston wins, Houston again, they manhandled Buffalo last time they played in Houston. But again, imagine an AFC East showdown to go to the Super Bowl too. That would be rather impressive because they split the series 1-1, New England and Buffalo. So I think there's some interesting possibilities here.
Augustine is saying that the Harbaughs are so overrated as head coaches. That's why we'll talk about that coming up in a little bit.
That's questionable.
Okay, so and I gotta think of like who the other matchups were that we saw over the weekend. I think we hit basically all of them. Right,
Yeah,
we hit all of the matchups. Is there one that we missed in the NFC? No, we got all the NFC.
We got the Pittsburgh matchup. We got all.
So we got all 6 games that happened last week. Now we've got 4 games happening this week where we have the Buffalo Bills at the Denver Broncos. Who do we have winning this game here? Because I don't know if I trust necessarily either team.
Yeah, no, it's hard to trust either team. But considering the circumstances and considering the fact that they are on cloud 9 and the tremendous win, I'm going to choose the Buffalo Bills because no one circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
What do you mean by just choking in the playoffs?
Well, I mean, yes, they have been chokers. Yeah. I agree, but I do feel that was a big win last week. That was a huge win. That was huge.
And Tony Romo was right. Like either team that won that game between Jacksonville and Buffalo, you could see a path of them making it to the Super Bowl. Buffalo, to me right now, this is going to be a real test. And I'm not just talking about because of the altitude or whatever Denver has right there, but Denver's defense is really good too.
Yes.
And this is the biggest caveat because we haven't seen it happen all year long. If Bo Nix can put together a complete game, I think Denver, there's the possibility Denver can just boat race them and just steamroll them all the way through. But Josh Allen has some magic working with him, right? Not going to have Gabe Davis. Not going to have one of the other wide receivers. I can't remember his name right now. Starts with an S, but he's out with an ACL injury. They don't have real receiving help there. So it's going to be just really checking the ball down to Dawson Knox and to the other tight end, and then running the ball with Cooks, which obviously it's a great idea that he led the NFL in rushing, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those types of games with Buffalo. If I can see a big speed bump for Buffalo, right now it's the health in the receiving core because they didn't have a good receiving core to begin with.
No, they did not. They did not. And again, it's interesting, though, with Cook, he's unbelievable. He's so good. And he could be, one of the biggest pieces and the biggest keys to their victory because how many huge runs has he torn off this year? He's the leading rusher in the NFL this year. Tremendous, tremendous asset. And not only that, but takes a lot of the stress off of Josh Allen, and Josh Allen, we know he can perform like it's going out of style. Denver's defense is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not great. It's good, but it's not great. It's a very beatable defense. We've seen a lot of teams, even Jacksonville, go in there and win a big game. It was about a month ago or so. So, again, it's not to say I'm not impressed. That's a good season for them, but they don't just wow me. They don't wow me, Denver. You know what I mean?
I would say if you look at the coaches, you're trusting Sean Payton more than you're trusting Sean McDermott.
Right.
Like that. And Augustine makes a good point here. If Buffalo doesn't make it to the Super Bowl, there's a chance McDermott gets fired.
Absolutely.
And I would venture to say if they don't win the Super Bowl, McDermott gets fired. Like I feel like it's an all or nothing season for him, kind of the same way it was for Tomlin, kind of the same way it was for Harbaugh.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that stuff going forward as well. Tommy's saying that he's got the Buffalo Bills taking this one with a game-winning field goal as time expires, so he thinks it's going to be a close game. It's hard for me to not think Buffalo is going to win this, so I agree. I feel like it's going to be Buffalo that ultimately wins this game. Denver, once again, a hell of a season. I think a lot of people saw them winning the division. Like I saw them winning the division. I don't think I see them winning a playoff game. I didn't see them being the number one seed in the AFC, which is wild.
Yeah.
And again, like we talk about the moral victories for such young teams like New England, like Denver, like the Jacksonville Jaguars. For those teams, and even the Bears, if the season comes to an end today, it's a phenomenal season.
Absolutely. It's a great season. I mean, you can't, like we talked about, you can't always judge a season off of a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things. It's, how much have you improved from the previous year? Did you win the division? Are you the number one seed? Did you win that playoff game like the Bears for the first time since 2006? Oh, no, excuse me, 2010. So it's been 16 years since they've won a playoff game. I mean, little strides, little baby steps, eventually to becoming better and better and better as the years progress, and hopefully your team keeps improving.
The other game today, which I think is going to be a fun game, the San Francisco 49ers on the road in Seattle, taking on the Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers and this MASH unit that they put together, again, you got to give teams like the devil their due. The San Francisco 49ers being this far with all the injuries they've had, season-ending injuries that they've had for this team, them being this far, it's been a great season for them. And then you have the Seattle Seahawks, who, if you said Sam Darnold was healthy, you might give them a little bit more of the edge. But knowing that Sam Darnold has that left oblique, he hasn't thrown a ball in 2 days. Oh, my God. It's going to be the worst thing in the world.
Play the game.
Like, now, it kind of evens that playing field a little bit, right? Like, there's more.
I mean,
San Francisco came into this.
And they're going to downplay it. They're going to downplay it, but I think it's something that, you may see affects the outcome of this game. I mean, it's sucks to say for Seattle because they've been so great, so dominant defensively, and you earn that number one seed. But, this is obviously the least time of the year, the worst time of the year to have any type of injury at all. The talk about timing that's just so bad.
Especially at a quarterback.
And in the NFL, they don't allow enough time for physical therapy, do they?
Not really. That's the crazy part about it. But the funny thing about this is it's not like he got hurt in a game.
No.
He got hurt during the bye week.
Yeah,
but we got to remember, Seattle is the number one seed.
Yeah.
Like they didn't play a game last week.
Right.
So for him to just all of a sudden this injury come out like, oh, yeah, he's got a left oblique strain. I get it. It's just a strain. He's a right-handed quarterback. It's not going to really impact his throwing motion. But, brother, you get hit in that area, it's going to cause some problems.
It's going to hurt. And look, I mean, this is what it comes down to. Their defense is going to be tremendous, as like last time they met, really, which was for the division championship. That was huge. That changed the trajectory of the NFC playoffs. But if Darnold does what we've seen Darnold do, okay, then they can easily win this game. They can, because we talked about how banged up San Francisco is. San Francisco is the walking wounded, literally, coming into this game. Now you don't have George Kittle, one of your primary weapons. If they can also slow down McCaffrey, which they did last time, I mean, they really shut him down, if you remember. I can't remember the stats. I'd have to look them up. Mm-hmm. But the Niners come and go with McCaffrey, okay? And obviously put a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy. Then there's no reason why Seattle can't easily win this game.
So who do you got?
I have Seattle because I think San Francisco's unique season, and I'll call it unique because nobody really saw after all the injuries and what has transpired, maybe them getting this far. I think it's to be a close game. I think it'll be a great NFC West rivalry. But in the end, I see the Seahawks prevailing, and I'm more than anything else for the Seahawks' sake. I'm hoping that Darnold is a good game manager. Doesn't shit the bed.
That's all he's got to do.
Right.
Like
pretty much
with
a
this
defense.
Team. Yeah. With this team last year, because that's the hit on him, right? Made it to the playoffs last year with a 14-win team, just like he did this year with a 14-win team.
Goofed.
Ultimately shits the bed against the Rams. But we also have to remember, last year the Vikings had 4 total losses to 2 teams.
Right.
The Lions and the Rams, which were Super Bowl contenders last year, right?
Exactly.
The Seahawks this year have had 3 losses. None of them have been blowouts. They haven't been bad.
No.
Sam Darnold had 1 bad game this year, I want to say, where he had 4 interceptions.
Yes.
But they ultimately, righted the ship. They get 14 wins this year. They make it as a number 1 seed to the playoffs. If Sam Darnold could just hand the ball off, make the right pass, you have a phenomenal weapons in Seattle with Jackson Smith and Najigba and the boy. Like they've got some legitimate weapons on offense.
Cooper Kupp's been
he's been
through.
solid for it.
They have a great tight end in that Barner kid. Obviously, the double-headed threaded running backs.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot of great offensive weapons. A good O-line.
Great defense.
Their defense is amazing. I mean, them and Houston are 1 and 1A in my eyes, and I just think that Seattle's just too much. Of the teams that are left right now, if Seattle plays up to the potential, they're the best team left.
That's a big if. That's a big if.
Sam Darnold team comes, because if he throws 3 or 4 picks, then it doesn't matter how great your defense is playing. You know what I mean?
How great would it be if? And I just want again the chaos that I love. That we look at a guy like Sam Darnold that everybody wrote off 2 years ago, just as far as 2 years ago, was the number 3 overall pick, I want to say, with the New York Jets, right? Looks like a Lego fireman, gets made fun of all the time. If this guy wins a Super Bowl, it would be one of the most amazing stories of all time.
Incredible. I mean, and that's the thing, people forget and they want to write players off. You're only as good as 2 things. Number 1, the coaching staff you're around, and number 2, the organization and the culture of that organization. We've seen mediocre players in other places go to another organization and turn out to be a good enough player to win a championship. And again, you're a creature of your environment, and this is a pretty damn good environment for him.
And I was about to say,
they really are.
The Jets are where careers go to die.
Yeah, everybody and their brother goes to die with New York with the Jets, Jets.
Tommy agreeing with you, saying that he's got the Seahawks smashing the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers injuries finally catch up to them. The Seahawks win by 10. 10 doesn't seem like smashing to
Not
me.
really. I mean, that's a
close
good
game.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think San Francisco's playing too well for it to be a blowout. And if memory serves, when they played each other, was it the final regular season game? It was a close game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, both matchups were close. Didn't San Francisco win the first week 1 matchup, 17-13?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's going to be a 3 to 6 point game, I think.
Augustine's saying that Seattle wins by at least 14 points, giving no respect
I don't think so.
to the San Francisco 49ers.
I don't think so. You got to give San Francisco their due. They're going to be San Francisco's way too good to not be in the game.
Again,
the whole game.
Again, I appreciate what San Francisco has done. It's been a phenomenal season for them to be able to get this far and do the things that they were able to do. Good on you, San Francisco. However, eventually it all comes home, right? It's time to go home. The Cinderella story of the San Francisco 49ers is going to come to an end.
Absolutely.
I agree with you all that the Seattle Seahawks are going to win this game. I do think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's going to be anything over the top. And the only reason why I say that is because Seattle doesn't have to win by a lot.
That we talked about this last week. Something that Seattle has, to me, is in Myers, one of the best kickers in the league.
Yeah.
It comes down to a field goal. Love him from 50 or 60 yards.
Yeah.
And boy, our kicker's important.
Oh, we've seen that.
Just ask the Green Bay Packers.
Well, not just that. Ask the Baltimore Ravens.
Nevermore.
Augustine's saying the only way San Francisco wins is if Christian McCaffrey has a career day.
It's not going to happen against this defense. I'm sorry. I just don't see that. I mean,
even if he does, you need so much more.
You need a perfect game. You need a perfect game to win. And again, let's not forget how hard it is to win in Seattle. It's one of the true greatest home field advantages in all of the NFL. It's the home of the 12th man, right?
The loudest stadium in the NFL.
Decibel wise, yes.
Well, tied with Kansas City, which Kansas City deciding they're going to go to a different stadium is wild to me. Like Arrowhead, upgrade Arrowhead.
Yeah,
like you have such a home field advantage.
They're moving to Kansas now, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be dome as well.
I mean, here's the thing. I love it. I love it. Build a dome everywhere, and I say that because you're going to grab a Super Bowl.
No,
it's great for the economy.
I mean, great. Yeah, I guess.
Well, look, build a retractable dome so you can still freeze your ass off in the winter.
Yeah, but you
can
host
close it for a Super Bowl and NCAA Final Four. Don't be a schmuck and be like, yes, we're going to build a new stadium in a cold weather city, and we're Buffalo, and we're going to keep it as an open air stadium. Are you nuts? Seriously? Don't you want to draw a Super Bowl? That to me, that would be important. Their
Didn't
new
they
stadium.
they played the Super Bowl at MetLife. That's open and cold.
You know, it's crazy. They did, and it wasn't a terrible day. Actually, it was like in the 50s. It was very uncharacteristically warm, and it's ironic because the next week they got like a foot of snow.
It's a hoax.
But imagine if they had snow for the Super Bowl. But I mean,
That'd be cool.
you know, like Buffalo, their new stadium, and it's like $1 billion stadium. It's kind of like Miami. Like they protect 65% of the fans with that roof, and the field is heated and whatnot. It's great, you know, state of the art. But it's still going to freeze your ass off. I mean, it's Buffalo, you know.
My favorite thing about that stadium in Miami, Hard Rock Stadium, I don't think we're going to get to see it on Monday. We'll talk about the national championship coming up in just a little bit as well. But that stadium in Miami for the 1 o'clock games, the way that they built it,
the sun
hits the visiting team.
Yeah.
And it increases like the temperature on the
20
field
degrees.
on that side of the 25 at least.
Yeah. You know.
It's wild what they do.
And
They baked. There was a game 2 years ago where they baked the Buffalo Bills on the sideline.
Oh yeah, literally. they became Buffalo wings. You know, I tell you what though, you know, and anybody that's ever been to Miami don't cool down till like November, December,
and even then it's cooling down.
You know, it's so friggin' hot and humid there. It's horrible. I mean, especially August, September, October. I mean, it's so bad. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Just that heat, humidity.
The humidity is unbearable down there. It really is.
Tommy's saying the Seahawks will control this game. It might be tight in the first half. Then Seattle runs away with it in the second half. And then saying you missed the perfect opportunity, Brandon, to be like it was Buffalo Wild Wings.
Got.
Right there.
Oops.
Right there.
I came within an inch. I got so close. He's right. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, how many times did you wish you had just an inch more? The next game on the schedule.
More times than you could ever imagine.
The next game on the schedule.
That kind of party.
The New England Patriots playing host to the Houston Texans. You did not deserve that.
Terrible.
I'm sorry.
You're such an asshole.
What I think is going to be the most defensive game of the playoffs so far. It's going to be, again, don't expect pretty because it's going to be a cold weather game. It's going to be a defensive game. Both teams are run-first types as well. You got two coaches who were great defensive players in their time with – God, why can't I remember his name right now? I was filibustering so I could remember his name. DeMeco Ryans and Mike Vrabel. Like, both these guys were amazing defensive players in their time. This is going to be a very defensive game.
Yes.
Augustine saying that he feels like it's going to wind up being Patriots 24-6. That is wild.
No,
that is insane to think that's going to be that.
Yeah, I mean, we know Houston has their offensive struggles, but their defense is going to bail them out. Drake May is great. He's a future potential, Hall of Famer eventually. He's very, very good. He really is, and I know it's only been a couple years, but he's never played against a defense like this. They're going to force Drake May into committing turnovers. Okay. I think Houston has just enough in the tank to be able to pull this one off. Therefore, I am picking the Houston Texans to end the Patriots' reign this year, just because, again, there is never enough emphasis put on a great defense. Not a good defense, but a great defense. This defense is one of the better defenses we've seen in a long, long time. Now, it's to be determined how far they're going to go and how much we can actually rank them up with the 2000 Ravens, the 85 Bears, whatever. I go on and on about the 93 Cowboys, historically great defenses.
You have to win it all.
You have to win it all. So with that being said, their defense is way good enough to take care of business, and their defense is going to win them this game tomorrow.
Augustine saying, and you think Stroud isn't going to make any mistakes?
I think Stroud is pretty damn. I mean, he's vulnerable, but I think he's also been playing better lately. And I think it's kind of like, hey, they're both decent quarterbacks, but they're also both young quarterbacks. And yes, there's a possibility that Stroud shits the bed and goofs as well. Sure. I don't disagree with you there.
This is such a hard game for me to pick because I feel like both teams are evenly matched.
Yeah, they are.
And if Houston had Nico Collins and they were healthy, I would lean more towards Houston than I already am because I feel like if both teams are healthy, Houston's a better team. But not having Nico Collins is
it's a big loss.
A huge loss.
Big loss
for the Houston Texans. And I I would love to see my neighbor Carlos. He is a Houston Texans fan. Lives and dies at that team. He's even got like the Govee lights, so he changes his house to red, white, and blue in Houston's colors, so that he's able to like get his house set up that way. I would love to see the Houston Texans win this game. It's just so hard for me to think about a healthy Patriots team with all their weapons going up against a great defense, yes, but a vulnerable offense with the Houston Texans.
They are pretty vulnerable.
I see this being a low-scoring game. Like we said, 10-6 would be a high-scoring game. That was being facetious. 13-10.
Yeah,
I mean, it being.
Let's not forget it was like 7-6.
Yeah,
until like the fourth quarter, until their defense got 2 scores, right? If memory serves. So yeah, it's going to be a 10-7. It's going to be like maybe even a baseball score, like a 9. I mean, just because of how great the Texans defense is.
Tommy's saying I have the Texans shocking everyone and winning a close one in New England. Houston's defense will force May to turn the ball over. He's got the Texans winning 23-16. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Augustine. It's just they're the healthier team, and you can say whatever you can. Like great defenses are great defense,
but health
is always the ultimate.
And New England's defense is no slouch. Their defense is pretty damn good.
I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as Augustine thinks, where it's going to be 24-6. I feel like it'll be 13-10.
It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game, and the problem is, again, sometimes you can only rely so much on your defense.
Yeah,
you got to score some points.
Exactly.
And again, we talked about this. Woody Marks has been great. Chubb's long in the tooth now. What other weapons do you have? And unfortunately, they lost. Schultz is good. They're good tight end. He's all right. Damn, what a terrible loss. Again, worst possible time to lose your number one receiver, huh?
Huge loss.
Because they have him, and to me, it's like, okay, they're going to win this game easily.
And he's such a good receiver that he's not just a one-dimensional guy.
Like
he can take the top off the defense. He runs the right route. He's strong to break tackle. Like Nico Collins is, and this is the sad thing about it. Like we've got 2 years here now of Nico Collins having just untimely injuries. Yeah. Whenever he's healthy, he could be a top 5 wide receiver. It's just that we don't get to see him healthy enough.
Yeah, he's very injury prone, and injury prone players. Unfortunately, it's always the what could have been, right?
Oh, 100%.
Usually,
So we're split.
Yeah,
we're split. All of us were going with the Buffalo Bills. All of us went with the Seattle Seahawks. We're split on the Patriots and the Texans. Dave, we're listening to our arguments. You get to be the guy here that determines who's going to win. You listen to both sides. Do you have New England or do you have the Houston Texans?
Quick, get the dogs out. We'll run a race, and whichever dog wins will be the victor.
There we go. I like the way that sounds.
Let the dogs out.
And then the final matchup of the NFL weekend, the divisional round of the weekend, the LA Rams. And I can't believe I'm still saying this, but what I think is the best team overall left in the NFL. They haven't been playing like it, but I still feel like they're the best overall team left in the NFL. Going up to Chicago, where again it's going to be cold,
abominably
absolutely cold,
very cold.
Taking on the Chicago Bears.
Let's see what kickoff temperature is going to be.
It's again colder than a well digger's ass in Alaska. That's how cold it's going to wind up.
Which is, what? Let's see, kickoff temperature. Ooh, you're going to enjoy this. 13 degrees. Oh, my God. That's horrid. I mean, here's the thing. It's funny. I met a nice young lady one time from France. She was a doctor in Iceland, ironically enough. And she was from Romania. And she tells me with her Romanian accent, whenever Americans say, here's the thing, that means it's going to be shit. So here's the thing. In honor of Dr. Drea, she's a doctor. Anyways, it's an interesting scenario. The Bears are, the darlings right now just because of everything they've done. And, the weather, man. I mean, it really can affect a game. It really can. And because the weather is going to be atrocious. It's Chicago in mid-January. And I know I'm a homer, but I'm going to choose the Chicago Bears to move on to the NFC Championship. I think it's going to be a good game. I think there's going to be some points scored because you can only slow down the Rams so much. But I feel that if Williams plays to his potential, he can get this team over the hump. And I think the Rams defense is good, but not as good as it was maybe a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I think it could be a great chess match between McVay and Johnson. I like Ben Johnson. He's a gambler. He's got King Kong-sized balls. I really I like the Chicago Bears to win at home. And how important is it now that they're the number 2 seed, that they got that number 2 seed home field advantage? I mean, it's a tough place to play, and that stadium was rocking last week, Soldier Field. And it's something about that win against your biggest rival. It just puts you in that state of mind. Bear down,
It gives you a great level of confidence that I don't think the Bears had coming into the playoffs.
Absolutely not.
Being able to come back from behind, beat the Green Bay Packers, your long-term rival, send their ass home packing, grating the cheese and doing all that stuff. I believe it was great. Augustine giving us a little laugh here saying, "Oh, well, Digger's ass in Alaska, LOL." What I was going to say was a polar bear's nutsack in Alaska, and I decided to not go that route because that would be equally as cold, if not colder, in my mind. Tommy Canazza saying the Rams are experienced. They're the experienced playoff team, and it will show. I got the Rams winning this one late. Caleb Williams' magic runs out. This is what, again, like y'all know me. You've known me for a long time here. I do believe experience plays a major factor in things. But I'm also been around long enough to know that there are extenuating factors that are out there that can level the playing field. And one of those things is weather. And then you have to look at what each team's strength and weakness is. The Rams have proven to us over the last month and a half or so where these struggles started coming out, they are a team that struggles against the run. The Chicago Bears' strength is running the football because that's what Ben Johnson does. Mm-hmm. Then you look at what the strength of the Rams is. They are a pass-first type team. They take the ball, they throw it down the field, they take the top off the defense, they do their things. Where do the Bears struggle at? Right? Defending that. Nakua, And then you're going up against one of the greatest wide receivers in the NFL right now in Puka Nakua. Mm-hmm. Devontae Adams.
He's no slouch.
No, Devontae Adams is really damn good.
That's a good 1A.
They have a really good offense there. Yeah. So what becomes the equalizer? It's in these cold games, it's harder to throw that damn ball. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be difficult for the LA Rams to be able to do what makes them great.
Yeah.
For the Bears, turn around, hand the ball off, let DeAndre Swift and Monungai and them boys run the ball down their throat. Hell, dig into the well, bring Deion Hankins in there, run as many times as you can with as many people as you can. Dig up Refrigerator Perry, give him the ball, and have him run the damn thing. Run the ball down the throat of the LA Rams, and I think it's ultimately going to be what helps the Chicago Bears win this game. Obviously, I stated my bias at the beginning of the day. I believe that the Bears are going to win this game. I think the Rams have shown that they are vulnerable. The Bears are riding the biggest high right now, and if they don't capitalize on this, it's going to be catastrophic for them.
Well, not only that, but Stafford is, he's not without flaws. We know that. I mean, when was it a game? Wasn't there a game? Was against Carolina where he threw like 5 picks or something? So, I mean, you can get to Stafford. And again, the Bears defense is kind of middle of the road, but I think they're going to get to Stafford. And we talked about he could struggle in these horrible conditions. So now the one thing is the Rams, we know they have a pretty good ground game themselves. I mean, I think they can run the ball. They can run the rock. But, it's going to be the ultimate chess match. And I think Ben Johnson has a little bit of an edge there. Believe it or not, even though they don't have the experience.
I love this matchup. Like, I love both coaches. I think Sean McVay is a phenomenal head coach. I think Ben Johnson is a great offensive mind. And obviously you're seeing the way that he is as a head coach. That team loves Ben Johnson.
He's great.
The one thing that I will also say is that Matt Stafford is at least 7,000 years old.
Yeah.
And we all know, as being old guys, that whenever it's in the cold, your body does not agree with that. Yeah. And I can only imagine Matt Stafford's arthritis is going to be flaring up. Like his trick knee is letting him know that it's cold outside. Like it's going to be one of those days for Matt Stafford. He is going to go home and bathe in Bengay. So that way he feels better at the end of the day.
So what the NFL needs is not just an injury tent. They need a heater tent to allow these people to warm up before you hit the field.
If either one of these teams don't have those like heating stuff and like those jackets that they plug in to be warm, then they are ill prepared and spending their money wrong.
Yeah.
Well, they need to do something.
I mean, in my opinion, the people that are going to be there are ill, and I say that because I've been there for the Bears Packers in 2008, and it was 3 degrees at kickoff, and it is not fun at all.
Tommy saying Stafford played in the NFC North for a long time, playing in Chicago and Green Bay, has prepped him for this type of game. Same with Devontae Adams. I will agree with you with Devontae Adams.
Absolutely.
But Brandon said earlier in the show, and he was a phenomenal stat, Stafford in those cold weather outdoor games is
1-9.
1-9.
So that's a big difference. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something
That's a big thing to look
it
at.
really is
A big thing to look at.
It could be the deciding factor.
He ain't no Tom Brady. We know that.
Tom Brady, and we know what Tampa Tom did. That's the thing, is that people remember. Okay, that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team in 2020, yeah, they went to Green Bay and won the NFC Championship game. They are a warm weather team, but who was their quarterback? A guy that had spent his whole career in the cold.
Yeah,
Tampa Tom.
Tommy's saying 2-9 after today. He's got faith in the Rams.
Well, you know,
and again, like I feel like if the Rams were firing on all cylinders right now, I would be all over the Rams. As much as I love the city of Chicago, much as I love you, and all the reasons I gave why I'm rooting for the Chicago Bears, I would still say if the Rams were firing on all cylinders. But I haven't seen that Rams team in damn near 2 months. And the team that I've seen recently that struggled with the Carolina Panthers twice, that's had their issues in weather games twice.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put myself behind that team.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Chicago Bears, they're at home. Caleb Williams, to me, is a phenomenal athlete. Not just a quarterback, but a phenomenal athlete. Roll him out. Let him do his thing. You got Olamide Zaccheaus. You got Roma Dunze. You've got Luther Burden, who's been showing up all of a sudden now. You got two
DJ Moore. He's been, coming through.
The fact that he's like your third wide receiver.
Colston kid. Colston's a great tight end.
Yeah, you got Loveland. You got Cole Kmet.
They love to use the tight ends.
They have weapons.
They have a lot of weapons
in Chicago. So for me, it's like I look at both teams and I feel like the talent level goes to the Bears as an all-around team.
And even the Bears' losses were very competitive down the stretch.
Yeah.
And this team could beat anybody. They can stay there with anybody. And again, you're on that emotional high. There's something, momentum's a hell of a thing, isn't it?
But I will also say this. There's also a great feeling whenever you're the team that goes in on the road and just steals the heart out of everybody.
It happens all the time.
Oh, yeah. So
that's what a great team could do.
Yeah, that's your heel turn for the Rams. I want to see that happen. I think that's going to be a really fun game. I legitimately do. So we all have the Buffalo Bills. We all have the Seattle Seahawks. We're split on the Texans and the Patriots. And I don't think Augustine gave us his pick here on the Rams and the Bears, but it's 2-1. You and I with the Bears, Tommy with the LA Rams, and saying the Bears lost 2 of the last 3 also. I mean, they did.
No, they did. Absolutely.
But it was all they had nothing to play for.
Well, no, I disagree. They were trying to play for the number 1 seed, and that loss against San Francisco kind of diminished those hopes. And
that was a great game.
It was a great game. It came down to the end. And then there was the loss against Green Bay, which again came down to the end. And then there was the last regular season loss against Detroit, which Detroit won at the very end. So they were all very close games that they lost. Yes, they did. No, they kind of were limping in as well. I don't disagree with you there.
Tommy's saying his final 4, the Bills, Seahawks, Texans, and Rams. You are Bills, Seahawks, Texans, and Bears. I am Bills, Seahawks. It's funny how like those two were just like, yeah, we're good with that. Patriots and Bears.
Yeah.
So I it's going to be fun. No matter what happens after this weekend, it's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Once again, Brandon, we are over here at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. It is the month of free. Tell everybody about what's going on.
Well, they have a hell of a shtick. Last week, we got a free burger, with the purchase of let me see this thing here. Me eyes, they ain't as good as they used to be. So you had a $15 purchase last week. You get a free burger. This week you have 6 free wings with a $20 purchase, and then next week it's a free sandwich, and then the last week of January a free appetizer. All you got to do is come in here to B-Dubs, make a couple purchases, and give them your phone number. You're a member. Today we will indulge on our Wings for Gore.
And not just that, there are also like the app. It's one of my favorite things to have is that Buffalo Wild Wings app. You see like right here. Look at that. Got it set up right here.
Nice.
I get the
Does that
free
say
burger.
free?
It does say free burger. I can order now. So maybe we get free burger and free wings. We'll see how that goes.
We can eat.
Yeah, a couple of fat guys are happy whenever we see the word free.
Speak for yourself.
2 guys that are thicker than a Snicker. Thicker than a Snicker.
That sounds better than fat. Thank you.
Okay, so the last football game that we have on the docket is the national championship game in college football. nobody in their right mind would have had Indiana versus Miami in the college football final. And, of course, Miami, since its game is at Hard Rock Stadium, now at home, hosting the college football final. It's going to be a very one-sided crowd in Miami for the Hurricanes. What are your expectations for this game?
Well, two things. Number one, the college football playoff ultimately has definitely done their job in getting us Miami in there. I love it. Keep expanding the field. I don't care if you agree with me or not. And secondly, how about Indiana, a program that was extremely irrelevant? I mean, it's a basketball school, but all of a sudden they're playing for a national championship. You know, this is why the transfer portal is both good and bad. It's good because it gives anybody the opportunity to go anywhere, and it can take a team that's not a football school and create them into a national powerhouse in just 1 year's time. It even gives the small mid-majors a chance to shine. And it's also bad because everybody and their brother, they're free agents every single year. With that said, Indiana is playing as good as it gets. This is one of those games where I really don't care where it takes place. I think Indiana wins. I mean, they have the Heisman Trophy winner. They have the #1 overall draft pick. He's playing stellar football. What was the stat? Something about 5 touchdowns and only 3 incompletions.
Yeah,
recently.
In the college football playoff.
He's playing. Mendoza's playing lights out. Not only that, the team's playing lights out. A great team, very well coached, clicking on all cylinders. Offensively, a juggernaut. Defensively, just causing terrible things for their opposition. I think Indiana wins the national championship.
Tommy's saying, I think Miami wins easily. The Cinderella story ends for the Indiana Hoosiers.
I wouldn't say easily.
And he says that he hopes Indiana wins, though. So he's on both sides of the fence right now.
Sure.
Pick a side, my guy.
Yeah.
You got to. I guess he kind of did. He said Miami's going to win the game. But it would be fun, right? Like, I think that's going to be the thing is, as much as I hate to agree with you, you are right. But I told you at the beginning of this whole thing that Miami was a playoff team no matter what. They deserve to be a playoff team. They should have never been ranked behind Notre Dame because they beat Notre Dame. So this puts all that stuff to bed. Notre Dame, you took your ball, you went home. I don't want to play in a bowl game. That's not a national championship game. What the hell ever, you whiny ass little bitches. But go ahead and give both Indiana and Miami the love that they deserve. Nobody except for the most diehard Indiana fan, and maybe not even them, we're like, oh yeah, this team's going to make it to the national championship game. We saw the way that they beat Ohio State. We said, okay, phenomenal. You beat them in to win the Big Ten. Then they get into the playoffs and they just utterly dominate. Like you said, more touchdown passes for it's not Martinez. Fernandez.
Yeah.
More touchdown passes for Fernandez in this playoff run than incomplete passes, which is just insane to think about because you have more opportunities to have incomplete passes. And it's not like he's played nobody. Like, look at the way they beat Oregon, and look at what Oregon did to my beloved Texas Tech Red Raiders, right? It was so dominant the way they did it. And I look at Miami, and I think Miami, to me, is the better overall team. Like their defense is stellar. Reuben Bain and them boys on that defensive line. I don't think Martinez and Indiana has seen a defensive line as good as what Miami's going to throw out there. These are grown men playing college football right now, right? And then you look at Carson Beck at quarterback. That's a really good quarterback. We're talking about him as like a multi-time Heisman Trophy finalist, right?
Good.
Like he was in that conversation. Yeah. So and Tony that they have, I can't remember. It's not Kadarius Toney, Malachi Toney. Like he's just a multi-threat athlete that they have on the offensive side. I feel like Miami to me is the better team. They're at home. It's a home game for them.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're going to find a way to win this game. I don't think it's going to be easy, like Tommy said.
I won't be surprised.
But I think this is going to be – both teams are matched up so well.
And they just beat a really good Ole Miss team. I mean, they really did. That was a difficult game.
Mendoza. There we go.
Mendoza, yeah.
Who the hell was I thinking? I'm thinking about Blake Martinez from Kansas.
Yeah, you kept saying Martinez. That's okay. You're a putz. But anyway,
maybe I'm racist.
Yeah, well, that probably are too. I mean, look, if Miami wins, yes, you're right. They have home field advantage. I mean, that's never happened in the BCS era. It's unprecedented. It's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it'll be a close game, but I just think Indiana's way too good. I think Indiana's way too good, and they do win this game. They do. Probably by 10 points, but not a blowout though.
Okay, yeah, I think it's going to be a really close game. I'm with Miami though, so we're split on that. But back to where we normally are. I like this.
Yeah,
we split on
when
things.
You agree with me.
Yeah, it's no fun for the show whenever you and I agree on some stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the coaching carousel that has happened in the NFL right now. A lot of coaches getting fired out there that deservedly so, and I don't think necessarily deservingly so. John Harbaugh getting the axe, I didn't think was going to be a thing, but I could understand why it happened, right? 18 years, one Super Bowl, hell of a run that he had in Baltimore. Then you look at Mike Tomlin, 19 seasons, one Super Bowl, hell of a run, never had a losing season, was able to just dominate the AFC North for a very long time. Both these coaches now were unemployed going into this week. John Harbaugh taking the job as the head coach of the New York Giants. How do you think that impacts our beloved Dallas Cowboys and the NFC East?
I mean, the Giants have a lot to look forward to. I mean, you got, to me, Dart's a pretty good quarterback. I mean, he's, the round game is going to be okay. You look at the receiving core isn't too shabby. I mean, Harbaugh's a great coach. I think it sucks that he's in the NFC East now. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I think he's part of the reason why he decided to go there is because of the young core of players he has, and they have a high draft pick. What do they have, the 3rd overall pick or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so, the G-men are going to be pretty good, I think. Give them a couple of years, but we play them twice a year. Remind me about that. Damn.
Do you think that he comes in and automatically changes the culture? They win the NFC East.
Well, I don't know that I'd go that far because they're still a very young team, and Rome wasn't built in a day. But I feel that they have a winning record next year. I mean, I think they're going to improve a lot, and especially, again, they have that core right now. Obviously, they have a lot of work to do defensively. They need to beef up their O-line. But whenever you have a decent quarterback, good ground game, 2 more than capable running backs, good star receiver. I mean, they have the pieces. They even have a good tight end. They have some good pieces. I like what I see in New York.
And this is the thing, right? Like, you had a really good team in Baltimore that John Harbaugh was heading over there. But they don't have the offensive talent that the New York Giants are going to have next year. If Cam Scatterboot can still be the guy that we saw this year, that was a catastrophic leg injury. Like, let's be honest about that. If Malik Neighbors can come back and even be 90% of who he was following an ACL injury.
But nowadays they come back from those pretty effectively.
My question for them is going to be along that offensive line. That offensive line was basically Swiss cheese last year, and you cannot expect Jackson Dart to be as good as he can be if you do not address that offensive line. They have salary cap. Like you said, they have a good high draft pick that they're going to be able to lean on as well. And John Harbaugh, to me, is one of the best coaches in NFL, if not NFL history. I know Augustine said earlier that the Harbaugh brothers were overrated. I don't know how you can say that. That's a wild accusation to just throw out there.
Statement,
but John Harbaugh going there does, like you say, it gives the Giants what they've been missing for so long, right? Like, you look at the coaches the Giants have had over the last, like, ever since Tom Coughlin left, right? Like, you've got now one of the best tenured, proven head coaches that you could possibly have.
You have a Super Bowl winning coach. That's all I need to say. A guy that's been competitive for many years, a guy that's great at developing talent, and players are going to want to go there and play for him just because it's John Harbaugh. Tommy, he's going to be great there.
Tommy's saying, I hate this because I think he turns the G strings around, not this year, but maybe the year after that. They're in the playoffs and they have all the building blocks in place. Does Mike Tomlin go coach somewhere else, or does he just go on TV? Because I cannot picture Mike Tomlin anywhere else. And once again, let's give some love to the Pittsburgh Steelers here. You know I hate them. I hate that franchise. I think they're absolute garbage. But the fact that you've only had 3 coaches since 1969.
Unbelievable. What an organization.
Exactly. Like,
great,
that's
organization.
A great organization.
I mean, you lose in the first round 5 years in a row, but at least you made it 5 years in a row. Yeah. I mean,
you haven't had a losing season in 19 years.
I mean, again, you got 2 Super Bowls in the last 20 years. Most teams would die for that. Yeah. So, hey, take what you can, get what you can in this league.
But does Harbaugh coach anywhere else, or is he going to be on TV?
Tomlin? I think he does TV for a year. Then I think he's going to get the coaching bug again and go back. I think someone's going to make him an offer he can't refuse. Maybe. I mean, but give him a year. I think he's going to detox, maybe do some TV, and then he'll probably go back. I think.
What do you think about the Miami Dolphins moving on from Mike McDaniel?
I like the guy. I do. But they were really disappointing, and it's not for long league, and they did terrible this year. So, I mean, don't disagree with them necessarily going in that route. They do have an abundance of good talent there, with the exception of their quarterback. That kind of shit sucks, but he's okay. I wouldn't say he's decent.
He's a middle of the road.
He's fair. He's not very good. Anyways, I think McDaniel's a good enough coach to get another gig. Yeah, whatever.
I love me a lefty quarterback.
I bet you do. But I mean, anyways, I understand them going another route. I don't. Yeah, I like the guy. I really like the guy. He seems like a good players coach.
I think wherever he goes as an offensive coordinator, they're going to have a great offense.
Yeah, he'll be.
And I was terrified because I saw that he was interviewing with the Lions as their offensive coordinator. Yeah. You get him as with their run game, and if he's in charge of the offense, and it's no longer Man Campbell, if it's no longer him being the guy calling all the plays, and you get Mike McDaniel in there, I think Mike McDaniel is going to wind up being cursed with the Norv Turner, Wade Phillips type thing of, you're a really awesome coordinator. You are not a head coach.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because some guys were meant to be coordinators, and that was their role. And that's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, Tommy, I hope this doesn't happen. He says that Mike McDaniel will go back to San Francisco as an offensive coordinator. Just wait to see. If he goes back to San Francisco, then that means the 49ers are going to get better, and I do not like that prospect.
We want them to get worse.
Stay out of Philadelphia. Oh, my God. If he goes – oh, no. If he goes – I didn't even think about that. Philly firing Kevin Patullo. Yeah. Now they have an offensive coordinator opening.
It's not just the head coaching carousel, the coordinator –
Mike McDaniel,
now,
I am begging you, Mike McDaniel, don't be like John Harbaugh. Don't follow John Harbaugh's footsteps and go to the NFC East. Just go anywhere. Go coach in the CFL. You'd be amazing in the CFL. Just please stay out of my division.
Go to the XFL. You'll be fine. You don't need to stay in the NFL.
All right, everybody, Fire and Ice over here at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. No show the next 2 weeks, but that's okay. You can still swing by and check out all the stuff they've got going on for the month of free. Brandon, tell everybody one more time what they got.
This month in particular, how about this? From the 14th on, 6 free wings with a $20 purchase. From the 19th on, a free sandwich, $15 purchase. And the 26th on, a free appetizer with a $20 purchase. So come on down to B-Dubs and take advantage of that, rewards members.
Awesome, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for tuning into today's show. We will see you in a couple of weeks. Once again, I'm going to be doing something special on the 31st. Brandon's got some coaching that he's going to be doing on the 24th. Where are you going to be coaching at?
Well, I'll be at Young Women's STEAM Academy for our academic decathlon tournament. So I'm excited about that.
I love that. You're all over the place with all this stuff
you're
doing.
All over the place.
Coach Cohn.
Coach Cohn, that's me. Academic coach and basketball coach. By the way, we won a big game last night. First district game for Austin. 48-47. Against Harmony. So, yeah. It was a big, most exciting game I've ever coached.
There we go.
Congratulations, boys.
I like that. Good job, Austin. We're going to keep up with all the stuff they've got going on. Once again, everyone, thank you so much. Huge. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks.
That win was huge.